Hello and welcome. I'm Lloyd and this is the preview show of the 2016 Six Nations first round weekend. Things kick off in Paris. You can hear in the background, Le Marseillaise, one of the great national anthems. This will bring a new dawn for so many teams. But will we see the same issues that we've seen over time? Things kick off in Paris as the French host Italy. We then follow up with a trip to Murrayfield as Scotland take on England and finish the weekend with Ireland hosting Wales. So let's start off by just running through where the teams may be at the moment. We've got new coaches across the board. We've got a start of a new era. But is it really? It's the same season in which England struggled to get out of their group in the World Cup. How much has changed? By the look of the team they've picked, not that much. Eddie Jones is certainly a great coach, but can he really bring the best out of an England team that for so long have been devoid of any ambition with running with the ball? Can that really take place? Is it wise to pick Ford knowing Farrell in the midfield? Are you taking away your opportunities there? There are so many questions that that can't be answered at this stage about how England can perform, but certainly first up at Murrayfield, that is a tough ask for anyone. Where do I see the Latins, the French and the Italians, both with new coaches, both have a lot to answer for, but will they be bringing up the rear in the tournament? Certainly, Italy, it'll be a tough task going to Paris, and the French will be very happy to have perhaps the easiest game first up. Perhaps they will invigorate themselves. The shackles will come off. They'll start throwing the ball around, playing expansive rugby, which is where the French are incredibly dangerous. Those, of course, I'm sure all of you can remember the last round of games of the 2015 Six Nations, where France, against an England team who were throwing the ball around, suddenly found the love of the game and were scoring tries from all over the place. The two teams that really fancy themselves for this tournament, though, are Wales and Ireland. Ireland, of course, on the back of the last 2 years holding the title. Will either team find a way to push on for a Grand Slam? Certainly, this is a big opening weekend for both of them. Wales welcome back some injured players that they didn't have in the World Cup. Ireland still smarting from the defeat against Argentina. Joe Schmidt has a relatively balanced team, though, relatively stable, aren't too many injuries. And Gatland, of course, has the opportunity to welcome back players like Jonathan Davis back into the fold, which will certainly strengthen the team. What's been coming out of Wales though this year as well is whether they'll play a slightly more expansive game, a slightly more aggressive game in throwing the ball around, which I for one would certainly like to see. Anyone that's been watching the Dressing Gown Diary for a while will know I like to see expansive, aggressive, running rugby, which unfortunately the Northern Hemisphere invariably have been devoid of. So what are we going to see from the first weekend? Certainly, I have an issue with the Six Nations starting this early in the year. Why are we starting in February when conditions are poor? Why aren't we starting this tournament in, say, mid-March or end of March, where players can play expansive running rugby, which is what the fans want to see? Now, if I say that the fans want to see that, you ask anyone Scottish whether they want to see that on Saturday, and they'll be praying, doing the rain dance, bring it down. The worse the conditions are, the more that favours the home team. Now, where are Scotland? They had a good World Cup, but they lost two crucial games. They lost to South Africa. They lost to Australia. Now, what happened in the Australia game? There's a lot of talk about how close they pushed Australia. But if you look back over the tries, one was a charge down, one was an interception. So did they play that well? Well, they've certainly progressed as a team. They've now got a bit of confidence. But it'll be interesting to see how they can test England and whether they can actually get over the line. It's not an easy fixture for either team. Eddie Jones is doing his best to divert attention away from his players. But there will be questions asked if he doesn't come away from Murrayfield with a win. That is expected to be a banker. So there's an awful lot to come forward from this weekend's rugby, and it's very difficult to assess where the teams are at the moment. It's exciting times. Everyone goes into it believing that they've got an opportunity to win, and certainly there are at least 4 teams that will back themselves. So my prediction for the finishing table is Wales top with a Grand Slam, Ireland second, England third, France fourth, Scotland fifth, and Italy pulling up the rear. Now, to close things out for the weekend, we've got the usual special guest. We've got Freddie here who will provide you with Freddie's flutter.
Wales is going to be
So Freddie's flutter for the weekend is to back Wales to beat Ireland. At the moment on the market, if you wanted on the handicap, you can get yourself probably 2.5 points on that. But I would go straight bet, back, turn the light on please Freddie, back Wales to win. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.